deciding that real estate was going to be your next move?
I had no idea. I took classes as electives, like took finance. No, finance was the last one I had to take. So I took P&P, law, and appraisal. I took them as electives at Columbus State. They were like $75 a credit hour. So I'm like, cool, interests me, but I never thought I'd be in real estate. And then it wasn't until 5 years, 6 years after I was out of college and everything where thought I needed a career. So real estate sounded very appealing to that. I thought it'd be really easy and I'd make a lot of money real quick. Did not. So, but that was kind of the appeal to it. I was like, okay, I took these classes. I'm going to have to take one more. Let's do it. It'll actually be a career. Right now I have a job and I want something more. So
yeah. And did you go back to Canton after?
I did for a year. Yeah, I did for a year, maybe 2-ish years, but it was around 07, 08. Everything was happening. I was slinging milk jugs at a dairy. I was like, I almost swore. So
you can swear on here. It's
okay. All right. So I'm sitting there slinging milk jugs. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? You went to all this schooling, you did all this stuff, and here you are, you're ending up back in Canton where everyone ends up and no one gets out of. So I was just like, okay, I'm moving back down to Columbus. That's when I met my now wife. She was living down here. So just timing added up. Came back down here and then was doing merchandising for Home Depot, doing that and coaching baseball and everything. And that's where it was just, there was no path forward with that. It was just went from slinging milk jugs in a dairy. Okay, you got out of there, but now you're working at Home Depot. And what's the next step? I didn't want to work at Home Depot till I was 50.
Right. It's interesting because with Intel and stuff going on right now, I live out in Pataskala and I'm on the northwest corner of Pataskala. So I'm near all of it and seeing, what's going on with Johnstown and all of that in the area. And, those of us that grew up in, I won't say Canton is a small town. I grew up in a small town south of Youngstown, but if you're from a small town, you know exactly what you just explained, right? It sucks you in and you never leave. And with Intel and stuff, I see this and I'm just like, man, I would rather be growing and going through all of the pains of this change. And yeah, it sucks that, you don't have the farmland, that you're used to driving by, but you could be a Youngstown, you could be a Canton, right? You could be a dying city where there's nothing there, right? And I just think the pros just outweigh the cons, right, of that. And I don't know your thoughts, but for me, I can tell you, I drive up 77 and go 30 to my parents' house. And I always said that was the motivation that kept me in Columbus to go and make it in real estate because I didn't want to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. It, I love where I'm from. I love Cleveland. Like anyone will tell you downtown Cleveland, like Browns, all that stuff. Like I absolutely live and, just, it is my passion. But there's just not opportunity. And sometimes I think about maybe someday that's where I'll end up and back there and trying to help or create these opportunities or whatever that might look like. But right now, that's exactly what you said. I don't want to be excited because the Chick-fil-A finally came in. You know what I mean? I need more than that. So,
so Josh, you decided, I'm going to take one more class, get into real estate. Did you have any interest in real estate before? I mean, obviously you said you took the classes and those piqued your interest, but this is a career where it's commission based. It's kind of have to be 100% in or nothing, right? And obviously, there's a lot at stake there when you're on a commission only, career and building that. But was there any real interest that really piqued your brain that said, hey, this is what I want to do as a career?
Yeah. Short answer, no. Maybe there's something more deeper there. Like when I was in high school, I thought about maybe architecture and being an architect. So that could be a little bit of a basis for it, but it really was, I took the classes as electives. I thought it was the easiest way to have a career. And then once I got into it, it was never it sounds terrible to say, but I was never the person who was passionate about okay, I want to help all these families move. Yes, you meet people and that's exciting and rewarding where when you hand them those keys and stuff. But to me, it was never about that. It was always okay, this is a means to something else. And then I realized I was starting to make really good money. I'm like, holy, shit, you can really do something with this if you focus and create a career and a life that, is changed my life entirely. with
Yeah.
everything I've done and made and everything. So
Yeah, I'm like you. Like for me, it wasn't. I don't. I like helping people buy and sell real estate because I know what it can do for people and families and really build wealth and all of those things, right? I know it can change family dynamics. I but I wasn't. I didn't do it for that, right? And I think that's okay, right? If you're someone that's maybe struggling with that and maybe you're around people who are like, man, I just really love helping people and, just seeing them light up when we find that right house. I want to say it's okay that if you're not that person, it's okay,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because for me, it was honestly a vehicle for a lifestyle that I wanted to live.
yep,
Um,
100%. I agree with that. And then you get in, and I love building things and like helping people grow. And then you realize, okay, well now I've done this for myself. Like I bought my house, paid for like all these things. Like how can I help other people do this now? And that was more rewarding to me, which ultimately led me, my rolling out and where I'm at.
yeah.
Um, that became the driving motivation rather than going and helping as many people as I can. It was always transactional to me in that regard. Um, I do X number of transactions, I make X amount of money, I can do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I want to dive in.